So yeah, so the PPI numbers are out. PPI is lower, but we got pretty
Yeah,
much.
the unemployment claims are up to 248K. So
Yeah.
that's the worrying sign, right? That's what I've been saying. So everyone that's come back to this new one, just please can you let me know if you can see both of us and if everything's good. I think it had to do with something with my Wi-Fi, maybe. I don't know. Weird. Yeah, but the market's not moving, so that's saying something, right?
But yeah, these numbers are not good. So I think what you said was right. We had maybe this would be like the last. Maybe now inflation is no longer the concern. Now we're probably more concerned about a slowdown.
I am more concerned shortly about the unemployment claims. I don't want those numbers to basically come up. Thank you guys for joining on this one. Sorry about whatever was happening. And to be honest, we don't know why. So if it happens again, it's just shit luck. But luckily, we didn't miss anything because the numbers were pretty much near estimates. We expected 242,000 people to be unemployed. I'm not saying it that way. It's not like I want them unemployed, but I'm saying that the number was expected to be 242,000. It came in at 248. PPI came in lower. So at least one good thing that I did see this time, Nikhil, is that both PPI and CPI are in a downward trajectory.
Yeah, they are. I think the only question is that because of reducing demand, or is that because there's a lag? Because usually what happens is supply chains have like a 90-day inventory backlog, right, that they can
Yeah.
probably use. So I'm not really sure this is because we'll see like a lag between when these prices will actually kick in, or if this is genuinely just slowing demand. So, retailers or manufacturers are not able to pass on those prices to consumers because it'll just hit their demand drastically. So, no clue, man. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, from whatever commentary I've been seeing, especially with a lot of these consumer based companies, uh, a lot of them have been saying that the lower end consumer is weakening and there has been substantial reduction in their purchasing power. But you know what? I don't want to sound inhumane by saying this, but the lower end consumer accounts for 2% of the revenue of the S&P 500 companies.
Okay.
It's usually the higher end consumers, the hyperscalers, all of these type of bigger companies that account for most amount of spending. So in all seriousness, you might see some effect when it comes to like a Dollar General or someone like that, but you're not seeing it at Walmart, you're not seeing it at Amazon, you're not seeing it in any of these other places where, yeah, I do know. I mean, from the aspect of being humane, yes, the lower end consumer is taking a hit, but otherwise the consumer is not taking a hit. People are still spending, right? It's not that people have reduced their amount of spending. If that was the case, you would have seen that coming through in any other GDP data that you're going to be collecting. Would it be retail sales? Would it be any other sales figures as a? Again, another thing that people should look at is within retail sales, you have this option that looks at tech-based sales. Right now, that's your offline tech, which is basically like people buying on Shopify, people buying on Amazon, people buying everywhere else. That's been picking up. Now, obviously, those guys are not the cheapest places everywhere, but it's the ease of using them is why people go in and buy.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I have a feeling, I think it's something that you guys said on yesterday's live stream, which is this will be your last good print.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm still expecting prints to start getting worse. Like,
yeah.
in all honesty, I'm expecting like you are going to see some form of bad data that starts coming in, and when that starts happening, people are going to shit in their pants. But let me be honest. You know what? In a good way, the Fed has room to cut. So that's something that's going to be there. All right,
I
let me
think
just
we're
go say hi
meeting.
to everyone, Nikhil, and let me just
Yeah.
introduce Nikhil to all of you guys. So you guys saw Sean yesterday. This is Nikhil here. We've been working together for a decade and longer also. So I thought, let me bring these guys in. Sean came in yesterday. He got a bit tired, I'm guessing. So he's going to enjoy himself on the other side of the island. And anyways, so Wage Freedom's back. Nice to see you again. Hero's back. Sean's back. Jason is also in the house. Jason's saying it's a red day. You know what, Jason? I called it yesterday saying that we're going to have a red day. From a green day, we were going to turn red. That's what I was expecting.
And we did close in the red last night,
Yeah,
right?
we did, and
Both
I
S&P and
was
Nasdaq
looking
were
at it
red
just because
negative.
we were live when the CPI numbers came in, and everyone was expecting a green print, at least a green candle. You got your green candle for 10 minutes, and then it all ended. The party ended closer to, I think, about noon or 2 p.m. We saw all of this party end, and it just came crashing down. But let me be a bull for today. Here's my bet. My guess is we'll go higher today because yeah, there is some crazy shit happening with Iran. We'll talk about that. And I had no clue. Like 12 hours back when I did the live, I had even no clue what the hell is going on in the Middle East and why is all of this crap happening. But fair enough. My bet is you'll see a green. You will see the market go into the green for sure. That's my bet for sure. My bet, like gun to my head, I would say we would see the market going into the green. So here's the reason why. I mean, I'm just not giving you. It's not a casino that I just want to bet on that way, right? What I believe is people will start thinking of the fact that the Fed has less room to not cut at this moment. Remember, the only thing that has kept the Fed the way they are is the concept of being data dependent. Now, they don't have a single data that shows that they should not be cutting. Then again, he's not going to come out this the next Fed meeting on the 19/20th. He's not going to come out and say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to be cutting." No, he's not doing surprising shit. That's not his ballgame. He's going to telegraph it in this Fed speech that if things look good, we have room to cut. All right. He's not going to say that he's going to cut because remember, he's got the other story around him saying that, hey, you know what? If he doesn't cut, Powell's going to screw him. Sorry, Trump's going to screw him. If he goes on and cuts, it's going to look like he caved into Trump. So he's got politics on one side and data on the other side to deal. Now, my bet is he is a lot more sharper than worrying about the politics of it. But you know what? I'm also guessing that at some stage, he also has this angst against the administration. This is what I was speaking to Sean yesterday about. I was telling him this, saying, you know what? Powell had a soft landing. These guys came in and effed it up for him.
Yeah.
He had the soft landing in place, and these guys just came in and said, hey, we don't like the numbers that are currently out there in the world. That's been there for the past 50 years. We're going to go triple all of these numbers, and we're going to be the richest country in the world. Till they went in and changed everything. And then I still remember, on April 2nd to April 9th, the amount of people that came out and said, hey, you know what, we need an emergency Fed rate cut because of
Yeah.
what's happening in the tariffs, right? And look, today you're like, what, 2% away on the NASDAQ to an all time high? And I'm seeing this in the past 48 hours. I've started seeing a lot more people getting more complacent about the fact that we're going to see lower prices and a pullback is coming. Pullback might be 5%. Everybody's even contemplating the fact as to whether it will be a 5% pullback or an 8% pullback. So I don't know what the whole story is when it comes to that. But with the way things are looking, I'm not really sure about this fact that we're going to see a red day continuously. I still think we can have a green day and higher. That's my bet.
But a little bit lower. I think we're just retracing some of those gains back. But yeah, also just I was just thinking of something that I think it was Ken Griffith who said this in a recent interview where he was like, some of the actions that have taken place, like you said, like a Powell engineered a perfect soft landing, and he was like, these actions basically took 20% off, in terms of brand equity for the US, right? And how do you measure that? Purely with the way the bonds in the markets are performing and the currency, obviously. But yeah, but I think yeah we've recovered a lot of those losses from April. But I think we'll just have to see how the rest of the year plays out.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me just hit on that for a minute so that everybody knows what I'm saying here. Uh, I've gone back and studied bull markets all the way from 1940 till today. This is pretty much how bull markets play out. The year one of a bull market, which was post October 2022 when we had the bear market in stocks, right? Everything collapsed, everything went down. Major companies were up down about 70%. So October 2022 to October 2023 was a bullish year. You saw stocks up all the way up till 20-25% return, right? You go up all the way another year, 2024, you see another return of 20% plus. So you have 2023 and 2024, which is year one and year two of the stock market being bullish. Year three of the stock market is usually very choppy. On an average, you can be down from 5% negative, 6% negative to a positive 5%, right? We very well might be on our way to a positive 5%. That would require us to be maybe another few percentage points up higher, and we're already there at a positive 5%, right? That's the average norms. If here's the kicker, right? For everyone that's on the basically the live right now, if you are able to go through with a positive year of year three as a bull market, year 4 and 5 are also great years. Positive 15%, positive 20% years. So usually it's a 6 year bull market, right? And if you scroll out all the way till, I zoom out all the way till 1940, we've been following this one thing. You have 10 years of the market going nowhere, and then 20 years of a bull market. Okay, so 1940 to 1950, the market didn't go anywhere. Then you had the 60s and the 70s, which pretty much rallied all the way up till the highs and just broke all highs that it could. 1980s was a dead year. 87, you had Black Monday, right? This is basically a history lesson for everybody, so just enjoy this. 87, you had a Black Monday crash. All the way through the 80s, 1980s to 1989, you had the market going nowhere. You went wherever, you came back to wherever, but you stayed within the range, and you literally didn't have great years. And you had 87 already in that, right? Which was pretty much Black Monday altogether. 1990 and 2000s, you had the entire tech move that happened, right? The entire tech rally that happened, and the markets went crazy in 1990s and 2000s.
Yeah.
Flip that. 2000 to 2010, again, the market went nowhere. We went from the highs of the tech bubble in 2000. We played it all the way to the housing crisis into 2008. And it took us another 2 years to recover in 2008, 2009, 10 to come back to the 2000 levels. So 2000 to 2010 was another dead year. That puts us into the 2000 to 2010 dead years, 2020 and 2030 as positive years, out of which we're already done with 15 years, right? So maybe this party lasts till 2030. Who knows? It doesn't need to be a 10, 20 year play, but it's worked, right? It's a game of patterns. It's worked. I'm not saying that we're going to have a bull market all the way till 2030, and we might stop the bull market maybe this month. Who knows? I'm not saying that, right? But all I'm saying that at the end of all of this, what you need to look at is that there's a very high possibility that prices can necessarily keep going higher. If we're able to get a 5% positive year or anything around that, my bet is we might get more than 5. We might get single digit, but we might get 8 or 9% positive years. It's likely because the next year being a midterm election year, we will enter a positive year the next year and the year after that as well. So in broad essence, it's going to be a pretty bullish year, but you have to go through year 3, which is the year we're going through, which is exceedingly choppy. And that's what you're facing right at this moment. There's so much indecision. Every day it looks like, oh, are we sitting on the precipice of a new bull market, or are we sitting at the start of a pullback which leads us back into a bear market? Every day it's a coin toss event with everyone on Twitter and everyone on the news that the data is bad. Why are we up? When we're down, they're basically expecting why we're not lower. Right? The administration screwing, everyone screwing everybody. It's just so much amount of noise that's there that you're not able to bifurcate and figure out that, hey, this is still a bull market. Yes, you had that temporary bear market of a month, but guys, it is a blessing to have a 25% drawdown in 1 month and recover within a month or 2 months than to go through what people went through in 2022, where you can see $700 stocks go down or $500 stocks go down all the way to double digits. Like, think of it. I mean, in all essence, if you had like a Meta today at 700, which goes down to like 90, in what phase are you going to say that that's any form of a pullback or a bull market? That is the end of capitalism, is what I want to be thinking of. But think about it: $300 stock Meta in 2022 went down all the way to 89. Right.
Also, Jason just had a question. Okay, need a short-term share buying advice for the next 2 to 3 months. Which one do you think is a catch to buy?
Buy bonds, bro. I'm sure
F,
you
fixed deposits.
yeah, you're gonna get the money. You'll surely make something.
Yeah, it's very
But
tough,
yeah,
man. I mean,
if if I
I
had to
wish
make a
we knew.
guess, yeah,
We would.
if I had
I mean,
if I
nobody
had to make
knows.
a guess, Jason, uh, if I really had to make a guess, like if I had to do something for myself, I might still buy the triple Qs. Right now, I'm guessing you want to buy a single short-term share. The fact that you asked me a share, I'm guessing you want the name of a particular stock. I wish I could do that for you, bro. But uh, if you're risking a small part of your portfolio, go and buy some high beta names, is what I would say. But just take care, man. Otherwise, just get the triple Qs and be happy. But otherwise, 2 to 3 months is like really short term, bro. In all essence, my opinion, though, not like I'm doing it. I'm just saying what I feel. Gun to my head, high beta is what I would do. That's just because I like risk and I like taking a little more risk than normal for everybody else. But yeah, maybe
Oh,
high beta, man.
just in, Trump just accepts Elon's apology. Very nice that he did that. Okay, boys,
Let me see what's
the
happening with
mommy
Tesla.
and daddy are back together.
Yeah, I remember sharing telling us that the mom and dad are fighting today, dude. That was the most ridiculous shit I've heard in a while when he said that.
They're back. They're back.
So poly market odds are now pricing in two Fed rate cuts this year. Traders see an 80% chance of a September rate cut, with a second cut possible coming as soon as October, earlier than December, which was the expectation. You have to go and see this chart, right? I'm going to put it up on Twitter. So you guys go check it out on Twitter.
You're
But
speaking of poly market. They also have a poll on Israeli military action on Iran before July. 52% chance.
yeah, it's just, dude, I didn't even know about this Middle Eastern thing going on. Like when I was doing the live in the morning post market, I was like, dude, why is everybody talking about the Middle East and why is like America saying don't travel in Israel? And I'm like, isn't the war in Gaza? Like, what's going on here? Why is everyone evacuating from Iraq? Like, what happened to Iraq? That shit was like decades ago. And then I'm like, dude, Iran's like, hey, listen, guys, we just built our own nuclear thing. We just need the machinery. Enjoy everyone with your bloody AI party. We'll just bomb the living daylights out of everyone. Right?
To
Now,
by far the worst negotiation tactic known to
no,
man.
right? Now, what I'm worried about is, you know what? All this party, all this AI, everything comes to a very nice end if you see oil spike. Most
Yeah,
times,
that'll throw a wrench into everything out there.
yeah,
Uh,
because dude, so oil right now is not going up because there is no strike yet.
no,
But you're at 65 on oil. How long does it take you? I mean, I remember we were in the mid 50s, or yeah, 54. We were at 54 about 2.5 weeks back. We're at 65. Here's my bet: you strike Iran, you will see oil at 100. This whole bull market story that I just gave you, saying year 3, year 4, year 5, bro, we're ending it in year 3. There is no year 4, year 5. Remember, most bull markets have ended usually with coinciding with the fact of oil going up. The only bear market that we have seen with oil collapsing is the 2020 COVID crash. And that was purely because there was no goddamn demand for it.
yeah.
But
Also,
every bull
just a quick
market, right?
update on oil. I'm on oilprice.com right now. So as of now, it's not really moving much,
That's what I'm
but
saying. Yeah, it's down
yeah.
1.5%, so it's not that much of a worry. But you know what? It's a worry once the bombs fly. So I'm not, and here again, you know what? I think the Iranians read the art of a deal. That's my bet. Okay.
Fake it
I'm
till you
just
make it.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they're just going with the flow, saying, hey, you know what? He thinks tariffs will scare the world. Let me scare them with nuclear weapons. And maybe he might just open SWIFT for us. I'm guessing that's the story here. I hope to the Lord that is the story here, because if it's not,
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of this. I think I remember saw this reel on Instagram sometime where this guy walks into a bank with a gun and says, like, hey, I'm here to rob you, and everyone's, gets down on the floor, and the cashier asks him, so what do you want? And he's like, I want a job.
yeah.
Want
So
people to,
maybe that's what
get
he
what you
wants, bro.
want.
Maybe he wants that. I don't know. Maybe he wants that. I don't know. I don't know what's up Khomeini's ass at
Uh,
the moment, but
Dude. But yeah,
I mean, to some extent, gold is up a percent, right? So that's saying something.
it's going to be an interesting. I don't know if it's going to be pleasant, but it'll be an interesting 2025. A lot of things are going to happen.
Yeah, it is going to be choppy, and trust me, this is what choppy feels like when everyone around you is saying tomorrow the bear market begins, and since yesterday the bull market's been going on. That is what the definition of choppy markets are. This is not made by me. This is made by Steve Cohen himself. So
I have a feeling we really need to keep reading Goldman Sachs quarterly reports. I have a feeling these guys are going to make a lot of money off this volatility, man. Yeah,
you know who's going to make money with volatility? This is what I tell everyone to go and check. Most people don't even know this, but the Chicago Board of Exchange is a listed company. Every time you have crashes, every time you have stocks going down or stocks flying like crazy, you have massive amount of companies that basically get traded, right? That pretty much becomes a scenario where everyone heads over to CBOE and goes in and makes their trades, right? All the option trades, everything goes through CBOE. So if you actually go out and see in times of volatility, your friend are exchanges, right? Maybe not
and
Robinhood
brokerages,
today.
dude.
Yeah, maybe not
Brokerages,
Robinhood and IBK are today,
yeah.
purely because of the concept that they still have a lot of retail traders doing that. I don't even think a lot of retail even know that Chicago Board of Exchange is listed. So a lot of retail still own Hood under the impression that they're going to be entering the S&P 500, and that was like a big fail that happened this time because everyone that thought that there were additions and deletions going to be happening in the S&P 500, the S&P 500 managing committee or whatever those guys sit and decide. I don't know why they had a meeting. They just came out and said, okay, no additions and no deletions. I'm like, dude, you got to do something, right? If you're going to sit for an entire quarter, maybe move some company here and there, do something about it. But yeah, anyways, they've done this before in 2021 also, but that's okay. I mean,
Oh, Jason is saying, I will buy
Jason, that I'll buy
shares
shares
in
in
the
the
company
company I
where I
work
work.
for, then it might end up rallying and increasing my salary there. Yeah, that's the bonus, Pura.
So
That's the
Jason,
bonus.
if this market doesn't go the way we want it to, please let us know where we can forward resumes. We'll be
Yeah,
out of work pretty soon.
yeah. So we're not entering no more banks then. But yeah, anyway, so the market's down only like 43 points as of now. We were down more than, we were all the way down to the lows at about 21,700. We're at 21,810. So that's at about, well, what is this? What is this ASU TV thing? What do you say, USA affiliate marketing? Yeah, okay, USA affiliate marketing. Cool. Okay, anyway,
Not
so,
our area of expertise, brother.
oh, he's asking us about, it's a stock?
No, dude, affiliate marketing is basically where you promote like an Amazon product and you get like a small percentage of
We
that
don't
sale
have a
on your
product on
website.
Amazon. Why the hell are we
No,
going to product do
yeah.
anything?
So sorry, sorry, ASU TV. We have no clue about
I
this.
don't even know what that
It's,
is, bro.
yeah.
Anyways, I thought he wanted me to say the words USA affiliate marketing. I was like, dude.
No, no, no.
Anyways, uh, so we're up about 130 points on US 100. So on the Nasdaq from the lows, not obviously up. My bet is I think by tomorrow's closing we should be higher. Do we have any news coming out tomorrow? Because I don't really expect anything to be coming out tomorrow. Pretty much done for the day, other than you miss sentiment, right? So Jason says subscribe to Signal and Sentiment, get 10,000 shares in SPX. Oh my lord. Uh, not bro, search for Warrior Plus and JVs. Bro, we don't need no marketing, man. We're good. Thanks, but You know what? Just go ahead, subscribe. You can get some shares in SPX if you subscribe.
I have a feeling something very questionable show up if you Google those terms.
I don't know what that is. I mean, I don't know what warrior gets spelled with an O in the start, but fair enough.
No, that's fine. Subscribe to Singlers. Or we don't have any shares to give out, dude.
Yeah. No, he's telling the affiliate marketing dude to do that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anyways, the
Um,
market's pretty dull, so we're doing this boring stuff right now.
so
Because
June 18th is the FOMC.
yeah, 18, 19th, right?
Yeah. Okay, so your take on what's going to happen? Obviously, there's not going to be a cut, but what do you think?
Yeah, but I'm
What do you
I'm,
think
I'm
the
sure
story's
he's
going
going
to
to be
be?
dovish. He is going to be dovish as F. I don't know if I can abuse on these, but whatever. I have
I mean,
before.
better not to.
Whatever. No, I have before. So anyways,
We're
go.
good boys. We don't abuse.
I wish. Yeah. So anyways, he is going to be dovish as fuck. There's nothing he can do about it. Right. It is going to be a scenario where. So he's going. This is my bet. This is what I've seen Powell do. Most of his press conferences, it basically ended up with uh, the market going lower post his press conference. So here's the story. He's not cutting, that's out of the window, right?
Yeah.
That's over, right? On the flip side, here's what possibly he could do. What I believe is he might come out and basically say that, hey, the current environment looks logical enough for me to be cutting. But at the same time, I don't know the temporary / permanent effects of tariffs, and it's too soon to tell. But in case that does not become a systemic issue or an issue that is going to be affecting employment, because it's not yet affected, right? If you see initial employment claims, it's still at 250 to 245. It's below 250K. We're not breaking that number yet. Remember, I said before also, if we don't break 255, 260, 270K, we're okay.
Yeah.
So we're good here, right? So there's really nothing to worry about when it comes to that. My bet is he's going to be dovish, and he is going to be dovish for the stock market too. Here's my story also. I don't think he likes the fact that Trump's become a bull. Powell was always known as being the bull, and he made that printer go brr. So I'm guessing he wants that shit to continue. He wants to keep that thing pretty much there because he doesn't even know if he's going to get his job back or he's going to keep his job next month or no. Right? Again, he's not going to get fired. Trump knows that. But what I heard, even Bloomberg saying, which is still false, is what the White House is saying. But I don't know who to trust right now. There is like zilch of anyone that I know in the administration, outside of the administration, in the government, even on goddamn Twitter, right? I don't know who to trust saying what, but they're saying Secretary Scott Bessent could necessarily become the next pick for the Fed chairman. Now, Scott
I
Bessent
mean,
yesterday in his testimony,
Besson's a yes man, dude.
you know what? He's going to place whoever comes into that place. He's going to place a yes man. He's never going to place somebody who's going to be like, if he really wanted to place somebody other than Jerome Powell, the only yes man who is there currently in contention is Kevin Walsh and Secretary Scott Bessent, right? Or even Howard Lutnick, maybe. But if you get Howard Lutnick coming in there, we're finished. We're screwed. The market's going to tank because that guy is like the tariff dude, right? So that's pretty much gone to the dogs. On the second story, what I'm trying to say on the flip side is that you might necessarily have something going with Powell when he comes out and he's like, they might have a question or two, not because he met Trump, right? And when he met Trump, he clearly said that, hey, listen, I'm not looking to cut. And Trump was basically like, hey, buddy, I need you to cut. Whatever said and done, you need to cut. Right? That party didn't last long and they went their own ways. So my bet, he's going to be dovish in his speech. He's not going to cut. But Jackson Hole, when he makes the Jackson Hole speech this time, that is going to be one of the most important events. because that is when he has to come out and basically pivot. Remember, post Jackson Hole, he has only a few maybe months to go before
Hey,
he is
when
shown
is
the
he
door.
when does his term as a Fed chair actually get over?
March from what I remember. Let me actually just check.
March 2026, basically,
2026,
right?
yeah. 20, March
March
2026, yeah,
2026.
May 2026 is when it ends, right? Which is still like what, 5 months into the year next year. Somewhere around October, November, December, you're gonna come out and get a shadow Fed chair. You are gonna get somebody who's basically coming in and saying that, hey, and this is what I was saying today in on the live in the morning. If you get someone like Bessent or Kevin Walsh that comes in, which is basically a right hand man to President Trump, the guy doesn't need to even talk. All he needs to say is that the day he comes into office, he's going to pass a 100 basis point cut. So, irrespective of whether Powell cuts or no, you know that in May 2026, there's going to be someone who's going to come in and say, hey, you know what, I need to cut today, emergency cut today of 100 basis points. So, the market's going to start discounting that and work towards it from day one. Now, that is what I'm not necessarily worried about, but that is something that I believe is going to be a scenario. 6 months later, when we're doing YouTube live, just remember the concept that when you and me were both live, we were talking about this thing where the next Fed chair was basically coming out and was going to be making statements saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to be making cuts that this guy currently is not making. And as much as I do believe that what Powell is doing by not cutting might be the right thing, but I do believe he needs to convert his statements from being neutral to begin being dovish about cutting rates. And that's not just because he needs to cut rates related to, he just doesn't need to cut rates just because the fact of cutting rates is inflation's lower, right? He needs to start cutting rates because the job market is cooling faster than he wants it to. He doesn't want to end his term by being actually becoming too late. Let me put it that. That's my worry in the grand scheme of things. That is my
So
worry.
when do you think that pendulum actually shifts, right? So I think we all know macro data is usually a quarter behind because it's a lagging indicator, not necessarily a leading indicator. So when do you think you will actually start seeing bad data from a jobs perspective?
Oh, from a
So then
jobs
the Fed,
perspective, I'm not sure too.
okay,
That's the $1 trillion question. From the inflation perspective, I can still tell you that we might necessarily see higher prices before we see inflation coming back lower, and that's purely because of tariffs. Right? You have a lot of pent up demand that will rise prices, and you have a lot of supply chain issues that these tariff rates would have caused. So to some extent, you will deal with something that under that pretext where you will look at price increases month on month, maybe YOY as well. The job market is a really tricky one. If you can crack the job market, you don't need to even, I mean, forget about YouTube live and all of this, bro. You will be having trillions of dollars if you could crack the breaking of the job market. But what I can see in the job market is that the market is cooling. So by that, what I mean is a few years back, if you lost your job, you could get your job very easily at another place
yeah,
and even at a higher pay. Second, if you took your current pay package and you went to another place, you could get a higher bump, maybe a 20% bump, 25% bump, maybe even a 50% bump at times. Those days are over. If you have your job, great. You're not being thrown out. If you lose your job, it's on an average taking you 3 to 6 months to get a new job. That is not a strong labor market. That is basically a market saying if you lose your job, you're effed.
that's why in 2022, when there were a lot of layoffs when after the rate hike, it didn't really affect the economy because they were easily able to find replacement jobs. Because all the Mag 7 had, crazy layoffs in 23 and 24.
Yeah.
But
And that's,
everybody really found pretty good, good replacements for their work.
yeah. Trump just tweeted saying the China deal is great.
I mean,
Dude, just out of nowhere, man. He just tweeted saying the words China deal is great.
yeah, wait, because that's
You know what's
what
going to
can
be
I say,
hilarious
man?
if he just get, you know what? I don't mind giving up everything I have that I love in this world for just getting President G to join onto Twitter and start tweeting. or like just
So
join
I think
X?
I don't know. I think they have a lot of members of the CCP on Twitter,
No,
but they
they have
don't.
it. They have it on WeChat.
No, no,
They
even
do
on
it.
Twitter, what they do is they're not there officially, I guess, but like you start seeing some random CCP members post sudden things like China is great, China's the future. I'm like, wait, what? This is coming out of nowhere, dude. Like nobody randomly tweets at like you don't go from like creating an account and having 0 followers and your first post is China is the world. I'm like, okay, wait, so maybe this person works for some CCP. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is just weird. I mean, he just out of nowhere just came out and said the China deal is great. What I'm worried is when the Chinese come out and say, "What deal are you talking about? We only signed the framework in order to get a deal." Right? This is the concept
yeah,
to a plan. It's not. It's the concepts of the plan. It's not the plan in itself. That's what's currently happening. But
I think it's like real life office dude. Like, you have a meeting in order to plan for the meeting for the actual meeting,
yeah,
but there's
exactly.
no end agenda. Hey, quick question about this whole July deadline that's coming up. So I don't know, there are a lot of rumors, right? So on one side, I think Besant hinted to a few reporters yesterday that this deadline might get extended. Trump comes
Yeah.
out today and says, we're going to write a memo to all of these other countries and, tell them what our tariff rates are going to be. So what do you think is going to happen in July?
So here's my story. This is his art of a deal. This is him negotiating. What he's doing, he's coming out and saying, I'm done with my China stuff for now. China and me are not negotiating on anything. So here's the story, guys. If you guys want your deals to pass before July 9th, which is basically less than a month away, come and give me your best deal right now. Because if you don't give me your best deal right now, this whole party ends. And I'm going to start putting in unilateral tariffs. So I believe that's him just trying to tell all these countries that, hey, listen, don't waste your time in trying to negotiate. Just agree to what I'm saying. And when I'm saying something, just follow what is currently happening. Is my belief that's what he's doing.
So it's basically, my way on the highway.
Mm, yeah, I mean
But
that's his
but
that's
but
his
if they
strong
say but
point,
if they
right?
say highway, but then we all know he's going to claw back and go back to the negotiating table. So the other question I think I had
But he
was
doesn't have that time. He doesn't have the time, right?
no. So that's the thing, right? So that's the other that leads up to the other question, which is basically how much further, how much more pain and uncertainty can the market take?
Or but that's what I'm saying. The market doesn't give a shit about tariffs anymore. Remember, the
Okay.
market can deal with one issue at one time. If the
Okay.
tariff rate comes back to 100%, 140%,
Hmm.
then it's something to worry about. The market doesn't give two F's about the tariffs anymore. That
Okay.
story's over, right? That is not even of concern for the market at the moment. Unless and until we get higher interest rates, unless and until we get higher bond yields, those are issues that can be systemic. Tariffs is the market doesn't care about because they, you know what, nobody might believe the taco shit, but the market believes it.
Yeah.
That's it. Until the time the market believes it, it doesn't matter who cares whether it does, it's there, it's not there, what is the scenario, everything's working out fine. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that the market at this moment does not give a damn about tariffs. It
Yeah.
really doesn't give a damn about tariffs.
It's just about data now.
Yeah, it is about data because whether that 1 month of data and all of the stuff around it, did it actually cause issues? Did it actually affect the economy? Did it actually affect trade? Did it actually affect things wherein supply chains were affected? If those kind of things have happened, then that's a worry, right? I mean, then that's something that, I mean, how do I say it? Then that's something that could turn into something way larger beyond the ability of a tariff 90-day pause.
Yeah.
So,
It's going to
a
be a
nine,
little concerning.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
also the market, even today, even after yesterday's positive CPI, today's PPI, maybe because of the whole, unemployment data, it's pretty flat. And so a lot of stocks are also down, actually.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of other stuff going on in the market, right? Now you have something
Yeah.
which is all over new completely with this Iran thing that's going on. Because remember,
Yeah.
it's not going to affect the market on a substantial basis, but it is going to affect the market under some scenario that all it takes, see, when you're bombing some place which is got nothing to lose, it's a different story to when you're going to be bombing Iran's nuclear sites. Now, under that scenario, just from a capitalistic point of view, it's going to be making the price of oil go up. Now, while it makes the price of oil going higher, companies are not going to be able to deal with that, right? So, everyone needs to figure their shit out pretty soon and not have this thing turning into something way larger than what's required. I don't care if this is art of a deal or no, but this can crush the bull market for good. For I mean, by good I mean to say, whatever we were expecting in year 4, year 5, that party ends. If you see oil doubling, so go back in time and look at these things. Every time that oil has doubled in a year has been the end of a bull market. The only time it didn't happen was COVID. That's it.
Uh, just a quick question. So, like, if you go back to like '08 or something, right? So, did oil collapse because of diminishing demand, or was it like what was the reason?
No, oil never collapsed in '08. Oil only collapsed in 2020.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Oil's collapse in '08 only happened after the Lehman Brothers thing when you had. So remember, everyone's looking at oil in '08 because now they're looking at that big, huge fall that you ended up seeing. You saw the
Yeah.
$147 oil all the way collapse down to like what, 30, 40? That's because of hopes of no demand. The same thing that happened during COVID. But
Demand destruction.
if you go back and check on the chart, you should be able to see somewhere around 2007, the lows of oil were at 50. February 2007, the low on oil was 50. June 2008, a year and 3 years after, 3 months after, oil was triple. $50 oil was at 150,
Yeah, and
right?
that's when the your markets also essentially
Exactly.
crashed.
That's when the markets crashed. So what I'm trying to say is that always look at oil because oil gives you a barometer of how strong the economies are in the world, and also it gives you a barometer as to knowing what consumer demand is. You should not look at oil as a price. Is 65 going to affect the economy? No. Is 75 going to affect the economy? No. If 65 goes to 130 in the next year, year and a half, we're doomed. This whole bull
Yeah,
market ends, right?
but I mean,
Flip side,
it's all
flip
if
side.
this
This is the
stays
same.
similar.
This is the same thing with the 10-year bond yield. This is what I keep
Mm,
telling everyone. Don't look at the 10-year bond yield on a daily basis. Look at the change in velocity. If you see 4.25 go to 4.5, it's okay. It's part of the game. If you see 4.5 go to 5% in a year, that's also fine. 5% treasury yields are not going to kill you. 5% treasury yields in a month will kill you. Dude, the bond yield literally bought down Donald Trump to his knees in order to give that 90-day reprieve. So, in all seriousness, there is just one thing that can make everything go crazy, and that is the bond yield.
I think
And let
these
me
guys
just,
are basically the regulators of the highest order for free market capitalism.
yeah,
People who hold your debt. So it's incredible.
yeah. So this is happening, okay? This is Nick Timmeros from Wall Street Journal. The labor market is cooling. Seasonally adjusted initial claims for unemployment benefits have been at 7-month high last week. Without the seasonal adjustment, claims were running ahead of last year, but were below the 2023 level. Continuing claims, which is what you should look at as well, are at a 4-year high. So post
So
pandemic,
continuing claims.
you're looking at continuing claims that's now at a 4-year high. So just saying, let's see what happens. Who knows? I mean, there's another in other news, Oracle is up about 9% pre-market, 8.5 to 9% pre-market. So here's my bet, like I was telling Jason, I'm of a strong belief that we're going to close in the green today. Just my bet. Either we're going to shit to the dogs completely, we're going to be down like a percent or 2% completely, or we're just going to close in the green and just going to get more people sucked into the bull market that's going to be coming. I
Yeah.
mean, highly,
I mean, as of now, I think the only concern is with markets just a few, I don't know, 1 or 2% away from all-time highs. I don't know if all the any. maybe things are being priced in too quickly, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but you
I
need
think
you need the wall
we'll
of worry, right? That's what I've been saying in the early morning lives as well. That
yeah,
you need the wall of worry. Without the wall of worry, you're not going to go too high. The wall of worry is now this new Middle Eastern stuff that's going on. Is President Trump's tariff trades? Is President Trump's the Elon Musk thing, which seems to have ended now? They seem to be good friends. You're going to be getting some of this, the Fed rate cut issue, which is may or may not happen. So that's the wall of worry that you're climbing. So in a
yeah.
way, that's a good thing. If you have these wall of worries to climb, bull markets climb wall of worries. Remember, if everything was great, we were already at the top. There's only one way to go there. You're going to crash down lower. So you need a wall of worry to climb for a bull market. And the more worries we have doesn't mean it's going to get better. What I'm trying to say is that the more worries we have that we can extinguish faster,
Yeah.
we can survive longer in a bull market. Somehow we need to be able to survive around the 6,000 to the 6,500 level on the S&P 500 for this year. If we can
At
do that,
least, if not
the year
anything, at
the
least
year next
6,200.
and the year after that, we're going to be possibly up double digits for sure. Is what my bet is. This is anecdotal data. As we got what 12 minutes more for the market to open.
Yeah, about 13 minutes ish.
Yeah, I mean stocks are down like less than a percent. So it's pretty much nothing. The Nasdaq's down like 45 points, 0.21%. Well, I want to see what's going to happen to Boeing. Apparently, there has been a crash in India. 200 people plus have died, and you have about, I think there are reports coming out right now of all of your dead.
Yeah, I think this is the worst aviation disaster since the Kingfisher. Was it Kingfisher? I don't remember, which is a crash in
Yeah, I just got Bloomberg's breaking news saying more than 200 people have been found dead at the crash site. Sad, man.
sense. This is extremely sad. But I think this is maybe the worst aviation incident in the last, at least post COVID.
Yeah. So, I mean, and likewise, news when it comes to financial markets, Boeing is down about 5.5% on this news, on this sad event that just happened.
This
Okay.
is brutal event. This is extremely bad.
Okay, okay, let's move on. Let's see what else is happening. I mean, they apparently went and hit into a building. Now I'm hoping everyone in the building is at least okay. I'm not sure how that turned out. Okay, anyways. So Oracle's surging on strong cloud growth, up about 9%. So you know what, in all essence, bro, the AI story is not. If there is one story that's there for this bull market, it's the AI story.
Yeah.
You can have all these stories about tariffs and trade and everything else under the sun. Could be there, could not be there 3 months from now. The goddamn AI trade is brilliant, but I'm telling you, bro, we're building ourselves a goddamn bubble in AI. Now, I don't know when that's going to burst. I have zero clue about it, but this has all the makings of being a bubble, all the makings that you can imagine.
So if you go back to the dot-com bubble, so I think it's not that uh, web apps and internet were not a great invention, I think, right? So there was just a point where they got overpriced, corrected, and then there was again a resurgence. Do you think that's what we'll see with AI too?
What I think is going to happen with AI, bro, is that there is going to be so what I haven't seen with AI. Let me do that. Let me make it simple. I haven't seen any of my friends, any of the people that I know that are investing in AI stocks or investing in stocks, ever call me and ask me, saying, "Hey, what's happening with these AI stocks, or what's happening with AI?" The only thing everyone talks about is whether Claude is better than OpenAI or OpenAI is better than Llama or something else is better than the other. That's all I hear about. So I don't necessarily believe that the bubble in AI stocks has come. What I do believe is that people are just getting to know about these languages and learning and what's going on and making it part of their daily lives. When it becomes a bubble is when we start putting all of our discretionary income, everything else on the side into these AI stocks because we start seeing them double, triple. Something to what you're seeing in quantum computing stocks, right?
Yeah, so quantum computing, I think, was definitely a bubble. I mean, from a valuation perspective, not the
Yeah.
like I don't
So,
understand the
I
tech,
mean,
but
I look at it this way, right? You look at Palantir, it's up 105 times on sales.
yeah. Was it
It's
also? I
300
think
billion.
CoreWeave, right? I
Do
think
you know
CoreWeave went up what
CoreWeave?
300%.
CoreWeave is a $75 billion business. But dude, Palantir trades at 100 times price to sales.
Yeah,
What that means is it's a $300 billion business. Dude, they're literally at the market. They're the 30th biggest company in the world, by the way, for everyone that doesn't know about. Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal management, phenomenal everything that they're doing. More power to them. Whatever they're doing is just absolutely brilliant.
yeah, but
But
just 108 times sales.
yeah, and the other stuff. You're telling me that Palantir today is worth all of what Coca-Cola is worth.
Also, like, if you look at their growth, so I'm just saying, I mean, I get why people are valuing it. It's because of the underlying tech and a lot of things we don't, there are a lot of things that they do, like real-time battle intelligence assessment and AI, assisted, drone operations and things like that. But if you just look at the numbers, so I think they are growing at, they used to grow at low, they used to grow at high double digits in 2020. They slowed down to about, low double digits in 2023.
Hmm.
And now they're again, hovering in that 28, maybe pushing it maybe 30% growth year on year, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
But
but the thing is
they're
that they're
still a
not being
sub
they're not
3
being
billion.
valued based on what they're earning, right?
Yeah.
They're being valued on what 5 to 10 years from now they will be making. It's like Tesla, bro. No one who's buying Tesla is worrying about monthly sales figures. You're buying Tesla because they could literally upend the whole robo taxi system, they could upend the whole robotic system, and they could upend everything under AI. That's why you're giving them that valuation of $1 trillion company
Yeah.
based
I don't know. Maybe,
on.
if there was a major correction and you had the opportunity to buy Palantir, very similar to how you had an opportunity to buy Meta on Netflix, would this be something you'd pick up?
Oh, 100%, bro. At the end of the day, it's just value.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's absolute value. If I can get Palantir down in single digits, I'm buyer. But that's never going to happen right now. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say never going to happen.
I think the
Anyone that saw,
lowest it hit post
I remember seeing it
COVID
in, I
situation
think,
was
10,
75.
10, 15 or something about a few years back. I
Yeah.
don't know, what was the lows in 2022? I remember seeing it at 5 or 10 or something like that.
What Palantir?
Or, yeah,
Palantir was available at $7.45
yeah,
in
$65.92. I remember seeing it in 2022. That was when I
yeah.
was buying Spotify and Meta. It's just that I didn't.
Unfortunately, man,
I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the
I
day,
didn't understand this business.
no. But you know what? Here's the story, right? This is for everyone that's listening as well. Don't go out and buy shit you don't understand, because here's what's going to happen. You might look at the chart of Palantir right now at $5 and say, "Oh, it went to 136," right? And I could have made, like 40 times my money or anything like that. It's bullshit. When you see it at 5 and you don't know what the business does, when you see it
Yeah.
go to 25 or 20, you're going to take your money. You're out.
I mean, imagine somebody who bought it at 45 somewhere in 2021 and then saw it go down to 5. There is no way I would have held out. Most people wouldn't have held at that point.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, right? Under that scenario, no one should kid themselves on this concept that, hey, a $5 Palantir has gone to 136. And this I'm saying is for people that don't understand what they're doing, right? This is what I'm saying is that people that do not understand the business model. If that's your scenario, you would be a seller. You're not going to hold it all the way till 130. So you rather buy companies that you understand. You rather hold something like a Meta or something this way where you're able to see these prices in a way where you're looking at it and you're like, hey, you know what? This is a company that I know. I see people using Instagram. And that's the reason why I bought Meta at sub $100 levels, right?
I think
It's,
Peter Dinitro, not Peter Dinitro, sorry, I'm sorry. Um, there was a very good investor, right? He basically wrote about why you should invest in things that you buy every day. Like, you go to Starbucks.
oh, that was me.
No, I mean, it was you too, but like there was a book written on this. Right? I forgot the guy's
Uh,
name, dude.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
there's a lot of dudes that have written this. Mark Mahaney wrote it in his book. But the guy who started this was Peter Lynch.
Yeah, sorry, Peter Lynch. I called
Yeah,
him Peter Thiel.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Peter
I
Lynch,
mean, he
rather.
learned it from me only. No.
Okay, glad to know that. Where did you guys meet, by the way?
We met at the Starbucks that we were buying stocks from. The, sa- the same one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Iranian president comes out and says to the IAEA governor's decisions, we will continue enrichment, continue on our path, and will not deviate from the current approach. Dude, this sounds so much like they read the art of a deal, bro.
Dude, what if part of the deal, okay, is actually psyops for the
Maybe,
Iranians,
maybe,
and
bro.
all of us just don't know that it exists.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh my god, dude. All right, this is yeah, but let's see, dude.
By the way, how many minutes do we have before market opens? 4, 5
Yeah,
minutes?
another 4 minutes,
Yeah. It's still a dead day. I
three
still believe
minutes.
we're going to go higher. I don't see a reason why we head lower. Maybe 21,810 is what we're at right now. So the volatility index did pick up all the way up to 18. Let's see if that starts heading towards 19, 19.5. Remember, tomorrow's your last day. Post tomorrow, you're going to be entering the triple witching week, which is when all of your options expire daily, monthly. So you could be entering a high end volume season for the next 1 week. When do they meet? On Wednesday, Thursday, right? 18, 19th with the Fed.
Yeah, 18th and 19th.
Yeah, so that's
So I
added
think
volatility.
next week could probably be one of the most volatile weeks. Do you think?
I mean, bro, you know what? That's the same thing every week, man. Or like every month. We see some of the shit, right? Every non-farm payroll is as important as the next one.
I think we're entering a phase where good news is just news, and then bad news is just terrible
Dude, you know what?
news.
We've entered. No news is good news.
Right, right.
If we
Correct.
can just, and I've been saying this for far too long, if we can just keep guys away, heads of state, away from tweeting and letting us know how they feel, we're going to see bull markets. We just need people to calm down a bit and not keep tweeting. We don't want to know if the China deal is great. Do the goddamn deal. Don't tell us because you know what? He's going to say the China deal is great, and then in 45 minutes, he's going to be like, President G is not picking up my calls and he has 50% tariffs.
Yeah, dude. I think we're going to see a lot of those flip flops. I
And we
just
did
think
this.
that
You remember we came live when the EU tariffs were announced at 50% and on a Friday. And we said that by Monday or maybe next week, he was going to cave in and he was going to change this. I don't think they picked up his call, bro. I don't think he likes his calls being missed. That's what happened. I actually do believe, I honestly do believe that this is all just petty stuff.
he doesn't like people who play hard to get.
Yeah. So I'm just of this opinion that I don't even really think they want to solve the trade deficit or if they really wanted to solve the trade deficit, they wouldn't be having this kind of spending. Like in all,
Also, like with the math, we all know like the tariff math is just absolute BS. Like you can't induce, you can't factor in deficits like
but bro, if you
into.
can't understand it, that's because you don't understand the art of a deal.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
At,
My bad.
at the moment, the only guys understanding the art of a deal are the Iranians.
Yeah, that's true. Dude,
I'm telling you, bro. Maybe he gave them a signed copy. Who knows?
I'm telling you, that could probably be psyops. We
Have you
just don't
goddamn
know it.
seen what happened to IBM, bro? Dude,
International business machines.
for the longest period in my life, I thought that company was dead.
Yeah,
Dead.
I thought it was. It's not.
Dude, have a look at that chart.
Whoa, look at this. IBM had a what we. Oh yeah, this is a pretty good recovery, man. It
Dude,
went
IBM went from
from
$200
$90
down
to
to
281.
90s at 281. IBM is IBM should be part of the FANG, bro.
No, man, I don't think so. But yeah, who am I to say yes or no?
Yeah,
Uh,
but just think about it, right?
you know what's crazy? Like, there's nothing that even happened to the revenue. If you look at the revenue in 2019, it was still higher than their total trailing month revenue
Yeah, but they got so
right
much
now.
compute that they have to do through IBM now. That's the whole story out here. Is this AI story that's been there? that's coming through them, and they're paying you
Yeah.
33% in dividends, bro.
Ah, that's why.
Right? So you're getting all of those kind of things that's anyways there. Anyways, market opened and everything seems pretty dead. So 21,828, we're down 24. My bet, I was telling Jason this as well. Jason, if you're still there, my bet you're going to see green today. Now, I don't know if he'll close in the green. I'm sure that we're going to see green today. I think this is all just part of this whole story of just worrying about stuff. But anyways, let me just go down and see a few things on few charts and see what's going on. If there is anything that's crazy.
I
Okay.
think
What do we?
post market could be a lot more interesting than the actual market hours.
Yeah, that's why. So that's why I do the post market live calls also, because when I do the post market, everyone's talking to me, and there's so much more happening there. There's so much more news. There's so much more this thing, and you're just getting choppy markets during opening, right? So that's one thing that's currently going on. So my bet is still seeing. I mean, who knows? We could next week be seeing new highs. If you get a pivot from Powell of being dovish, you're on your way to new highs.
Yeah, not even the rates, just his tone.
Yeah, you don't need him to come out and say I'm going to be cutting now. You just need him to come out and say that hey, I'm not giving it to him, but I'll still do what he wants. That's all.
Man, I miss the era where all we had to do is just pay attention to one person's actions, powers. Now we have to worry about the actions of all the state leaders across the
I was
world.
actually thinking about the same thing. The only thing that I was thinking about was that under Biden, I don't even remember we had so much. If we had so much fun,
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
I mean, I get it. Like it's not fun for everybody. I understand that, but dude, have you ever seen
you
the
know what
amount
they
of
say,
people
right?
that
You
are
know what they
just
say, right? You only value them when they're gone.
yeah? That's exactly what happened with Biden, and I'm telling you, bro. Maybe there was something about it. I don't know. It was fascinating. Dale's asking, "Are you guys a couple?"
This is hilarious.
Yeah, that's
Are you
hilarious. Though.
guys a couple?
We're doing long distance at the moment.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Uh,
that's a nice one,
oh my
Dale.
god. This has to be probably the best
Yeah, this might
live
just be the
comment
best. Yeah,
so far. Yeah,
Dave, how
this
are
is
you
this
not a how
is
are you not a subscriber, man? How are you not a subscriber, bro? Dude, I need you coming into all of these things and coming up with these things, bro.
uh,
This is just insane. I don't even want to look at the markets now. This has made my day.
yeah, dude.
Do you see
Man, who
what
would expect?
you see what Starbucks was saying they're going to be doing? They're starting
No
some
clue.
protein cold foam. They're going to try getting into the protein bandwagon. That's what they're
Dude,
trying to do.
no, the minute I realized a new Starbucks CEO takes a private jet to commute, I'm like, dude,
Bro,
maybe
I
I
mean,
shouldn't be using.
in all honesty, he's the guy that pretty much built Chipotle to what it is.
Oh, yeah,
And dude, what is a private jet for like $100 billion business like Starbucks? In all
that's
seriousness,
true.
it's like some change, man, dude. The amount of money we've given that company, they could buy maintenance contracts on that jet.
Yeah, your cold brews have paid for that.
Yeah, exactly. My cold brews are like the bloody fuel that they're using, right? Anyways, here's fascinating though. The Dow is down 235. Obviously, a lot of it would be because of Boeing.
Yeah,
The Nasdaq is down about 31. The volatility index is up 5%, right? Nvidia, for that matter of fact, is the only company that's up 0.5%. And I remember seeing Nvidia a percent down in pre-market. So keep a watch on that. Usually stocks whose days low and the low for that particular day, as well as the low when it starts, the open and the low are the same. They end up usually doing pretty well in the future. So keep a watch. I mean, you can't write it off. The end of the day, it is Nvidia. I saw the GTC Paris event. Dude, the stuff that this guy is doing is just, he literally reminds me of Steve Jobs, when he throws out all these. I don't understand zilch about, I don't understand anything about the computing process or that CPU that he shows. I'm just bewildered as to how these large computers have now just come into like these small sizes, and he's just like, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, dude, I'm like a kid in a candy shop when I'm looking at that.
dude, and in comparison to like, I think Apple stock. actually had like a very muted reaction to their OS updates.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, if the only update is that now you're going to be making my icons look through so that I can see the desktop wallpaper behind it. Why do you need a conference for that, man? Maybe the
And I think
17.
everybody in the 90s remembers of, who was born in the 90s and used a computer in the early 2000s remembers Windows Vista.
Yeah, but if you think about it, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, you guys didn't do jack out there. Maybe, yeah, fair enough. Now in Spotlight, I could use AI because I can ask questions or something. I'm like, what else happened? When I compare that to Google's I/O conference, dude, Google's I/O conference kicked ass.
Right. I mean, I think this I know conference was basically what sort of kept the stock from tanking because we're like, hey, Gemini still got, got a, they have a very, very good, if not a head start. Right now, I think they're the best performing model, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm sure ex Tesla. Let me actually check this. Ex
Dude, look at the
Tesla.
number of things Alphabet is going for it. Waymo, YouTube,
If you
search.
keep Tesla aside,
Yeah.
Tesla is 50% lower from its all-time high. The second worst performing Mac 7 would be Apple. Apple is 31% away from its all-time high. Now, if I told you a year back that you would be getting tariffs and all of this, I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people, if they had to choose one Mac 7 company, they most likely would have chosen either Nvidia or Apple.
Yeah.
Now, Nvidia is about 7 or 8% away from an all-time high. It could hit an all-time high anytime. But guess what? I would still guess that a lot more people would have chosen Apple just because if they had if you could only choose one for the best amount of time. And Apple for the past, I mean, Apple has underperformed the S&P for the past 4 or 5 years now. Not the S&P, sorry, the Nasdaq. But look at Apple, right? Apple's highs, the price that it's currently at was made on 17 July 2023. So it's been almost, it's going to be 2 years that the price is pretty much there itself. Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, point is not to be taking too much time. Let's just go over and see a few things. 27 down on the Nasdaq, 200 down on Dow, S&P down 11. Nvidia is the only stock that's currently up 0.3, 0.4. Most of the high beta stocks have got their ass kicked, which should not have happened considering you had a PPI print that was decent. Mm, but yeah, so that's that. I don't know, Nikhil, are you there or did you bounce? Oh, you're there. Okay.
Dude, these
Well,
comments are
good.
just killing me, dude. The comments are just hilarious, man.
Dude, it is just. I was thinking of ending it, but now let's keep it on. Let's see if the comments get worse.
I'm crying, dude. I'm crying. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Oh my god. Dude. Let me see if it gets worse.
The
Oh, good.
markets are the comments.
Yeah, I thought I was going through some stocks, and then I'm like, okay, this might just be it. Mm, what else? What else? What else? What else? What
I don't
happened
know if there's any
to
more
Boeing
macro news
af-
from you.
after the
Boeing is still down, right? I think it's down. What? It
was
was around
down?
8% pre-market. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
but
much
now
it's
it's
down
down.
right now.
It's down just 5.5%. So Boeing's not down too much. Starbucks because of its whatever cold brew, not cold brew, whatever cold foam protein or whatever, dude. I'm just hoping there's not people puking around when they're having all of these protein drinks mixed with coffee. And I don't know what all is happening. Anyways, Tesla's in the green. Tesla's up 0.4%.
Dude, that's
Otherwise,
because mom
it's,
and dad are back together.
yeah, that's what they're saying, right? The romantic couple are back. Yeah, what else is happening? Dude, Lululemon got its ass kicked. Literally kicked. An entire week back on the 2nd of June, the stock was at 339. The stock's at 249 right now. No one's buying those goddamn yoga pants, and everywhere that I see, women are wearing aloe.
Ah, Aloe is private, though, right?
Sorry, what?
Aloe is private, right? It's not listed.
Yeah, aloe's private, yeah. But you know what? 31 billion for Lululemon. I don't know, price to earnings of 17, but the problem is whether the earnings continue. That's the issue. right? So I'm not sure if that happens. Okay, this is funny. We got to end it on this note. Okay, Iran's president says even if nuclear facilities are destroyed by bombs, we will not say anything and we will rebuild them again.
Oh, wait, what happened to retaliation? I don't get it.
I don't know, dude. This is the art of a deal. You're not understanding, bro.
You're right, you're right. We got to,
I'm telling you, this is what it is. This is the art of a deal.
I guess, I guess.
Dude, I
But this
wish
is
we
funny
knew
though.
something other than this. If we honestly knew something other than this, we would have spoken about it.
Yeah,
Problem is we love
unfortunately, we
money too
don't know.
much, right? Anyways, I think we went on for like too long. Let me see if I get Sean next time. We can
Yeah.
put that through. Okay. Sean should be. I think Sean should be back tomorrow. So maybe Sean joins in. Let's see. If he doesn't, I'll be doing this. So, anyways, let me just go. Everyone just Dracula, Dale, Wage Freedom, Kunal, whoever the affiliate marketing guy was, Jason, and
Hey, by the way,
Sean is
if you
one.
guys subscribe, you can keep pestering us every time we go live.
Yeah,
So just make sure you
that's gonna
subscribe.
happen. And I pretty much go
Yeah.
live nowadays like every 12 or 15 hours, if not
Yeah.
every 24 hours. So, anyways, all of you mofos, I will see you in 24 hours.
Cool.
Unless
See you
something crazy
guys. It's been a
happens,
good run.
then I'll be doing a live tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Anyways, nice talking, guys. Have a fun day.
Cheers.
Take
See
care
you
and
guys.
enjoy. See ya. Bye.